What's up, and welcome back to Gabe Miller Music. Today, I am finally checking out the MPC Live III, and I'm going to go in somewhat blind, but also I have quite a bit of MPC 1 experience, and that'll be a big leg up here. My MPC 1, by the way, is not going anywhere. I still have some stuff I want to do with it, but the MPC Live III will hopefully, if it works out, become my go-to production station. At least that's the idea. So I'm going to unbox this thing, go in somewhat blind, and then try as many of the newly introduced features as I can. I also want to mention, I've worked with Akai in the past, but I bought this with my own money. I did get a discount when purchasing it, courtesy of Zounds, so thank you to them. But I mainly want to say thank you for allowing me to remain somewhat independent and try out the things that I find interesting on my own terms. All that being said, let's jump into it. The box for this is so comically large that I felt obliged to break out the second camera angle for this.
What did they think this USB cable was going to do? Escape? Okay, there's this, and a snack for later. God, it's heavy. Oh, yes.
Okay, so USB-C to USB-C cable. Power part 2. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. I'm curious if it has a bit of charge already. It does. You can remind me later on that for now. Okay, so for this, we do have Wi-Fi, which is nice. I'm going to have to figure out how to get rid of these demos because I don't ever use them. So here is our I/O. So this is your speaker on and off toggle. Headphones, main audio out, and then additional audio outs. I'll have to figure out how to make use of that. This looks like RCA. Audio in with XLR this time. MIDI connectivity, SD card slot, CV/gate, and USB, USB-C. Here's your power. From what I can tell so far, there's no 3.5 millimeter headphone connectivity, but here is the speaker through a microphone. Don't worry, I'll plug this in so you can hear it more directly in a second here. But what I need to do first is go to the menu, preferences, and I'm going to check a couple of things. First of all, I want to see if the screen is as bright as it'll get. Screen brightness brightest. It's a little dim, but that's also because I have a ring light shining on this desk. What I want to do right now is connect to my network, which I can do with Wi-Fi, which is nice, but I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to try to get all my stuff set up, and then I will come back. I do want to make a quick note that it took me a couple of tries to sign in, but then it prompted me to update, and now everything seems to be working fine. And I'm installing the instruments on the internal drive in hopes that that stuff runs as fast as possible. I'm still probably going to have my samples stored on an SD card, but my current understanding is that for plugins, especially the sample-based ones, like the Native Instruments ones, like Analog Dreams or Cloud Supply, those work best and are much faster on this than on some of the other older devices if they're installed on the internal drive. And I've got plenty of space, so that's what I'm doing. So I've got the default project loaded up here. It's a different default kit from what we saw before I updated because this is supposed to show off the new pad system, which I'm still trying to figure out. I don't really see myself ever using something like this. Like, this is a feature that is impressive, but in practice, I might find myself turning it off. Once again, that's impressive. And I'm really not sure how I feel about it. I do kind of like that. Okay, so what I want to do is disregard this for a second. Track view. I don't really use this view much, if ever, on the MPC 1. I don't know if that'll change here. Regardless, what I want to do is nuke this guy and start a new track. Let's find the browse button. There's got to be a physical button for it. I assume this is going to take us to pad edit. Yep. Arrange. Okay, so here is one thing. That's not what I meant to press. Having a dedicated button for the clip matrix is very nice on the MPC 1 because the clip matrix was added quite late. That's not a thing. And so you have to like hold down menu and hit a button like this, which is fine, but having a dedicated button for it is quite nice. Mixer, ooh, this is new. Okay, so this is interesting. Sample edit and the sampler, we know what those do. Clip launch, row launch. So here's our Q-Link cycling. Okay, fine. For now, we'll play your little game. I have to remember to turn auto preview off because that is going to drive me nuts. Preferences. Okay, this is also, I think, where you would set default mode. I want to be clip matrix. I am interested, actually. Default plugin is set to fabric. That must mean they're pretty confident it can load pretty fast, and I'll test that in a second. Turn off auto audition. Okay, where are my kick drums? Why does it sound like that? That's what it should sound like. I'm gonna start with just these two elements. I think this will be enough to like test what I want to test. Okay, so this navigates us through our step sequencer in this top corner. So kick drum. And I just realized I'm not doing this into a clip, but for now, this will be fine. I require a copy. Okay, we're clipping because this is like the loudest sound ever created by humans. I'll turn this down. I want to edit. I'm just gonna make a really janky little rumble here. All right, it's a couple days later. I got off to a bit of a false start because I had some other stuff to move on to. I was a little bit frustrated because I wasn't just immediately getting into it. So I've come back, done just a tiny bit of research and a bit of a different approach. So first of all, the browse button is the load button. So if I want to load stuff, there's a dedicated button for it, as there should be. I just wasn't looking for it because I expected it to be called browse. It's not. That's totally fine. So I'm going to load in a couple of other sounds. Okay, so what I do want to try for this rumble thingy, I have yet to figure out the grid on the pads. So what I want to do instead is see if I can record in velocities on the step sequencer. Yeah, no velocity information recording the step sequencer. I mean, maybe there's a way to do that. So what I want to do is select this, and I'll just do it manually. So the process of adding processing is the same as any other MPC. Just want to get something that sounds a little bit more listenable. So I should have the pro reverb and it should work a little faster here. I think we could distort this a bit. I like that groove. Okay, I require one more sound just to get this to be a little bit more interesting. Okay, so here's something I wanted to test. So let's go to main, pull up a new track, or start a new track rather. What I wanted to see is how quickly some of the more processor-intensive plugins load. Oh, we got 2 analog dreamses. That's interesting. So normally, okay. Now this is not a deal breaker on the MPC One, because you can kind of just decide not to use these, but I do like them. So I'm impressed that they load as quickly as they do. Also, feels like a bit of a missed opportunity not to have this doodad jump around with the pad zones. I need to go to... I need my notes, please. Okay, they made a dedicated button for it. I don't mind that at all. So if I'm not in this window, is there a quick way to change octaves? You're same banks as what I would expect to see, so that's good. I need a pluck. Well, let's see about some clips, actually. Because what I want to do is use these for clip launching shenanigans. If I recall correctly, you can't copy these directly. I think what I have to do is go to arrangement. Yeah, okay, that's easy enough. And then we do it with this plugin as well. So now these are clipified, which is what I should have started with, but I didn't. And so now we have clips. And we're back. I took some time off camera to watch some videos and tutorials about various features that are introduced with the Live 3, because while my existing knowledge of MPC devices has allowed me to navigate this at least pretty okay, I was starting to get annoyed and frustrated, and the solution was to just fill my lack of knowledge with things like the step sequencer, and now I'm actually pretty excited to try some of this stuff out. For one thing, I did not notice that this set button exists, which is pretty silly, but this is basically a second shift button, but for the step sequencer in particular, and there's some other cool stuff on the step sequencer that I want to try. Also, there's another way to get to the clip matrix. You can double tap this, and I like that a lot. In fact, can you just toggle this back and forth? Okay, no, it is a double tap, which is good because that feels a lot more automatic than what I was doing. So while we're on the clip matrix, for use of the step sequencer, one of the things I wanted was row launch. So I would do set and then hit row launch. And now I should I am able to launch these rows independently from these clips with all button presses. Which is nice. There's also, and I don't know how much I would use this, a way to do clip launching with the step sequencer pads. And that's obviously just for the active track. So I could see this becoming a little bit confusing, but as a convenient way to like not have to change what screen you're on and bounce from thing to thing, that could be kind of nice, but I don't know how much I'll use that. The row launch thing I absolutely will use though. So if this is set to pad mute, would I be correct in assuming okay, that's kind of nice. Once again, don't know how much I'll use it, but I'm glad that that's offered. I would have to be careful with track arm because I've been the victim of forgetting to arm a track before on like the Force, especially. Trying to double check that a track was armed became kind of annoying, and I've not had that problem as much on MPCs for whatever reason. Let's take a look at some actual step sequencing then. All of this is meant to be like workflow smoothness improvements and making stuff more tactile, which I'm all for. So let me think about this for a second. Let's go to clip launch. Let me just select this and like see if I can start a new clip. So it says unused. So if I go into drum sequence, can I just immediately start doing this? Yes, that is clip launch. And now you can see this clip has things in it. That was reasonably intuitive. I feel good about that. So the next thing I want to try, I haven't gotten the touch strip involved yet. So what I should be able to do, let's just punch in some notes. So this is just like a static hi-hat. So what I think you should be able to do is hold down a step, and then you see this becomes lit up, and this, at least by default, and I want to see if I can change it, controls velocity. So if I go in, weep, weep, weep. Maybe a tad gimmicky, but also gimmicky is such an overused insult that like, I don't know, who cares? I like it. Cause like, I'm not a touch strip guy. I'm pretty indifferent to them, but this is cool. Strip, pitch bend. I assume if I hold this down, you can just select it manually rather than round robin it. That's good. I'm interested to see what expression does. Okay, I've got a new clip selected, I think. Okay, so I need to be in note select. I made something like silly and stupid. Ooh, okay, so I have a thought. Let's make a new track with the plugin. I'm gonna create a clip just by double tapping because I'm already on the screen. Let's do Iona because I've been vibing with that lately. Also, while I'm here, I'm gonna edit this clip to reduce this to 1 bar. Okay, so I need this to be a one-off note rather than something arpeggiated. Okay, so what I want is to go here. So this is Q-Link 1, at least on the current screen. I'm wondering if that Q-Link 1 is like a custom Q-Link. I'm going to find out. So let's go into note sequence. Because what I do want to be able to like hold down a note and select a step. Every other step sequencer in a modern Groovebox I've used works that way, and I don't know why this doesn't. I wish it would light up which note is playing when I select this. I don't know why it doesn't do that. That seems like a no-brainer to me. Okay, Q-Link. You. Okay, so that's now linked. So what I am curious to find out, if I hold this down, that contains a value for something. I presume this Q-Link. If I turn this, it doesn't do anything. If I turn this, does it allow me to step automate this cutoff? All signs point to no. So what did that automate? What did it do? I should just go to the grid, I think. Because like something got automated. It might just be velocity. What else is available? Oh, it does look like it's velocity. Well, I mean, that's fine. Like some of this is just like expectations are the thief of joy type of stuff where like I expect it to work a certain way when it's like there's no law of nature that says it has to work that way. Oh yeah, here's step edit PT dubs. And yeah, it's velocity. So can you even automate anything else with this in the step sequencer is my question. This is set to Q-Link, probably my last touched Q-Link. So I think still, if I wanted to automate this cutoff, we have an automation. Okay, this is good. This is a start. That's why my method doesn't really make sense, is because it's like, how does it know which Q-Link you're editing? The answer is it doesn't. It just does velocity. So instead, we do it here. So let's get our friend the cutoff. Let me just try this, because if this works the way that I'm imagining it, then that's like fine. It works. It sounds really bad, but it does work. I like this. It's maybe like a tiny bit clunky, but this is a pretty big improvement over previous automation, which like I got used to. It's not that bad. It's a little bad. If I go into the grid and like pull up the track cutoff, you'd have to like grab the pencil and like edit stuff manually, which I've done and gotten results I'm happy with doing so. Doing it step by step makes this much closer to a Groovebox workflow, which I and other Groovebox heads tend to like, obviously. That's a welcome change, especially because it's like you can just kind of go ham on it. I still wish there was a way to see what notes you have. Do you have to like know what step you're on? Or, oh, good. Okay, this is fine. So like there's a note on here and then you would just, ooh, it does have colors. See here, just for convenience sake, I'm going to do this like that. That's nice. I would probably still edit note length in the grid because it's a lot more visual and you can like hop across bars more easily. That's just me. But yeah, this automation thingy ought to apply for a drum program as well. I haven't used this yet, so let's use it to test some stuff. Okay, it's technically music, and that's good enough for now. So at least so far, the only thing I've been able to automate with the touch strip is velocity. There might be other stuff as well, but that's the only thing I've gotten to work. Everything else seems like it would be covered under automation. So this step we know has a note on it. So I want to add an automation and send it up. Very interesting. So that is locked to step length, and I want to unlockify that. You could use that for some creative effects, though. Right now, we're just trying stuff. We're in full-on silly mode. You know, it's not great. And actually, we could just velocity modulation this. Why don't we try that? So I can, ideally, if I'm understanding this correctly, just do one of these. So that's cool. I can get down with that. And then like maybe we just give this some tube drive or whatever. So I did realize one thing we can do is like we've got a little mismatched bit of clips here. I could just like copy these clips into a new row, or if I recall correctly, I think it's insert and capture. So now I have a row with just the clips I had selected. That's what I wanted. And now, let's bring this guy back. I want to do a little art part. I'm trying to get my head around the note sequencer. So let me think about this for a second. So set, I have fed it a note. What happens if I just press another note? It nudges me forward. So this is the endless sequencer mode, which is not what I want right now. I want to be a little bit more deliberate. So if I hold down a note and then select a step, it'll show you only the notes that have steps associated with them. So there's only one step associated with this note and only one step associated with this note. Whereas note sequence shows all the notes and does the like endless sequencer thing. Ooh, you know what I do want to do though? I do want to see if I can just copy a step predictably. That's behavior that I do tend to rely on if I just punch something into a step that I decide I don't want it on. This was like too much work to program something that I could have just played in the amount of time it takes to listen to it, but like I'm sure I'll get faster at using this. That's the kind of thing I would program notes in a step sequencer for. Over playing it in live is something where it's simple, straightforward. You can just kind of go robot mode, just go pop, 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 pop all the way through. But this was not quicker. However, that might come with time. This is Gabe from the future. One other feature that I forgot to try out earlier that I want to try out now is the recall feature. And this is something that I was really hoping we would get. And I tested it quickly off camera and it does work. So my current understanding is that you do have to be playing for it to work, which makes sense. It's got to kind of know when to hold something in the buffer. So check this out. If I just hit play, and then shift recall, it did it. I'm really happy this is here. I got pretty comfy with this on the Ableton Move, and while it doesn't work the exact same as on the Ableton Move, it's a welcome addition. I'm happy it's here. Up next, the couch test. I love a Saturday morning or a weeknight evening just making beats sitting on the couch. It removes some of the pressure to be productive. It's more relaxed. It makes it feel more like play than work, and it's just a nice laid back vibe, and I've often made some stuff I'm really happy with just sitting on the couch. So the MPC Live III is portable, but it's heavy. And that's going to be one of the biggest things working against it. But also it gets warm. So I had 2 separate hour-long sessions making beats on the couch. And you know what? I would do it again. The heaviness wasn't as much of a problem as I was worried about, although there's no shot I would ever be able to sit like half cross-legged or something. It's just legs out, big heavy MPC on my lap. That's actually fine. That wasn't too bad, although more than an hour might get a bit uncomfortable. What did get uncomfortable was the heat produced by the device. After an hour, I was like, okay, get this thing off me. And I want to just put that out there right off the bat. What I would really love is a true MPC Live Mini. Akai, please make this. I would use it all the time. I would take it with me places, and I wouldn't even mind if it had less physical controls than some of the other standalone MPCs. That would be really nice, especially because like the MPC Live III, while I will happily take it and sit on the couch with it and like take it around the house and all that, I would probably take it traveling if I'm going to be staying in one location, but I would never take it like with me anywhere. It's just too freaking big and heavy. That being said, during my couch beat making sessions, I took the opportunity to test out a few more things. First of all, probability, because that's a feature of the step sequencer that I hadn't dove into yet. Okay, so if I go into step edit and select a pad and select a step, I can insert probability. So I've just got this at 50% for like a whole bunch of stuff. So this is what that sounds like. I think you heard a bunch of the variations I have in there. I also took the opportunity to try the endless sequencer again and just punch in something semi-random, and it sounds a little silly. I like that it's in here, but I'm a little surprised that it's that prominent. This morning, I also made this second beat, mostly using the built-in speaker, although I put in headphones to kind of tweak the mix and keep adding elements. I wanted to see how far I could get and how good I could make something sound and how comfortable of an experience that was, and it was nice. Like, I wouldn't do that all the time. I definitely wouldn't do it in public, and if my roommates were downstairs, I would not subject them to that, but I was alone downstairs, and it was nice to have headphones out and have a built-in speaker just right there. But I did end up switching to headphones because some of that detail gets very much lost, and when I wanted to make some finer tweaks and work on the mix, headphones all the way. Up next, let's try out that built-in microphone. All right, so for my music box little guy, I'm going to put this on the table so it resonates a bit. This may not work, but it'll be really funny if it does. I can't freaking do this. I don't know why.
This is a test of human speech.
This is a test of human speech. It's very thin sounding, but that's kind of fun in a strange sort of way. Oh yeah, what I can do is reverse this. That's kind of unnerving. It's kind of like I'm inside your head. What if we put, what's the pretty one? What's the one I've been vibing on lately? Ether. Terrifying. Here's something I do want to do. It still sounds stupid. I'm gonna do something else to make this sound less stupid. We're going to war with kazoos. Ooh, let's get a key group up in here because what I do want to try are those hand drum and music box samples. And you can like multi-sample this. In this case, I want to just try one. Oh yeah. I would absolutely use this like as is, but let's try to make this pretty. That's just the default preset. That's pretty cool. Cool. So what if we swap this guy out? That's pretty clean. So that's the music box. So then back to the mixer. This is that like the marimba music that plays in the background of like a very informational video. Yeah, that's a vibe. So I don't know how much I'm going to use this guy. It's definitely got some uses. Although, as you heard with like a normal human voice, it does sound a little tinny. Which, like, to be fair, I mean, look at it. That's not super unexpected. All right, final thing I want to try, the MPCe Pads. All right, so I've got some drums. And I'm going to try the first of the articulations. And I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be, like, pretty self-explanatory. So we've got a bunch of options here. Flam, which could be useful, although it does kind of make me feel like it's double triggering. Stereo is up, by the way, and so if I turn this down, it'll bounce around a bit. Speed. Let's try something else. Oh, pitched rolls. So this is very obviously like aimed at trap production. Let's try something else. So this is all like rhythmic stuff, by the way. That's my understanding anyway. So that's the first one. The second one is supposed to be able to like blend different sounds together. So I have some sounds from the creator Isobutane, and I'm going to load them in. So I've just got a bunch of pads that I want to put on different layers. So this requires use of the mod matrix. So if I am thinking about this correctly, we're gonna have pad X and pad Y, and I'm basically ripping this directly from the official Akai tutorial. I think this should be pretty straightforward, all things considered. All right, it works. The MPCe pads, in my opinion, and for my purposes, are kind of gimmicky. They're cool, and it does work, and I can see some creative uses for this, but I don't see myself using them super often. But post-tutorial watch, they were pretty straightforward for me to set up, so I'm happy about that. At this point, I've tried enough major features and made enough beats on this thing, and I've got a few that aren't in this video that'll make it into future videos that I think I can give some sort of very preliminary opinion on the MPC Live III. I actually had quite a bit of buyer's remorse when this thing first arrived. It's huge, it's a different interface than what I'm used to, it was expensive, and I was starting to go like, why did I spend so much money on this? Like, yes, I want to make videos with it, and yes, it's got some stuff I wanted to try out, but I should have just stuck with the MPC one. And once I got over the initial hump of learning the new hardware stuff, it grew on me a lot. It's not perfect, and I actually think most current MPC users shouldn't upgrade. And if I hadn't upgraded, I'd be perfectly happy to just continue making beats on my MPC one, not really knowing what I was missing. But I do like the MPC Live III. It's grown on me a lot, and I do plan to keep it around and use it because in addition to things like much faster processing power, the hands-on elements like the step sequencer are quite nice. I appreciate the fact that they've tried to make it much more Groovebox-like, and that has translated pretty well. There are some step sequencer features I don't ever see myself using, and the MPCe pads, in my estimation, are kind of gimmicky, although they are cool, and like I can see powerful use cases for them. I like that this is portable, and as I mentioned before, it's heavy, but I've happily used it on my lap to make beats on the couch more and more, and that's been really nice. So the more powerful processor, Groovebox, hardware features, and portability made this worth the upgrade for me in particular. But I do want to mention two things to be very clear. First of all, I can have this as a tax write-off because this is part of my like YouTube and music business. And that does change the mental math a little bit, and indeed the actual math. The other thing is that you can get clip launching on any standalone MPC for $100, and I did a dedicated video on that and how to use it. I would have been perfectly happy just continuing to use it. The hands-on control of the clip launching that is offered on the Live III, that alone is not enough to make me want to upgrade from any other standalone MPC. I'm keeping it, I'm enjoying it, but I want to put those caveats out there because it's expensive and a bit overkill for a lot of people. Honestly, myself included. If you'd like to see some more MPC videos though, I've got you covered with these up over here, and I'll be back with a new video in a little bit. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching.